using the terminal, we locate the file. The codes are similar to the one done previously. Here is a code for the program to display the value of cos x. We just change the codings, and similarly for tan x and sin x, we just change the names. In place of sin, we just write tan for tan x, and a little bit changes here and there, and similarly for cos we do accordingly. Then we just compile the results, and by using gfortran and the respective file name tanx.f90, sinx.f90, cosx.f90 and so on, we can get the results. The results are nicely shown, nicely kept in the dat file in the respective folder. Here the folder is ANJ2 in the desktop. Here we are compiling the programs and getting the results. ./a.out will generate the results and just place in the respective folders. Here we can see the angle of sin to dat is displayed here. Similarly, the angle of cos to dat, and similarly the angle of tan to dat is displayed here. We can work with these three dat files in xmgrace and just plot the graphs. By typing xmgrace, we have opened the xmgrace, and here in the data, in the import section, ASCII file, here we can just select the file, dat file, and just press OK, and the file is loaded. Similarly, cos and OK, then the cos file is loaded. Here we are going to do the two graphs, sin x and cos x, and just compare how they look in the same graph. In the plot appearance, we can just change the background color as well. Like by selecting gray, the paper color, the sheet color will be gray. Similarly, we can change the line width and line color, the type of line is straight or dotted, and so on. In the legends, we can just write what the line belongs to what the line belongs to. For example, if it is of cos, we can write cosine over there. If it is of sine, we can write sine over there. Here we are just writing sine curve, and by selecting the next one, for the next curve we can similarly change the values. The width, here I am selecting width 3. The legend, cosine of x, and the color is red, and after accepting it, just we can see the change in the graph here. Similarly, for sine, just we are changing the width, and just after accepting it, the width gets changed, and we can see the change displayed in the graph. Now what we can do is, in the axis properties, we can just change the start and end bars from 0 to, suppose, say 1440 degrees, and in the measure spacing means the spacing of the graph, at what spacing we want to make. Here it is previously 500. Now we can change and make it to 30. In the interval of 30 degrees, the graph gets turned. Now the label I have changed in the angle of degrees, and in y-axis similarly we can change. I am just changing it from the start point -7 to the end point 7. That means the graph will run from -7 to +7 in the y-axis. In the label string, I am changing it as the value of sine and cosine, so we can get this label in the y-axis. And what I'll do is just accept it. Yeah, the graph got changed. Here we can see the label being nicely displayed in the y-axis, and the graph, there is a legend also, cosine curve only. What's wrong with this graph? Again, we can get the change and just amend it correctly. In the legend, in the x-axis also we can make a change, and just going with that and just accept it. We can see sine curve and cosine curve is shown. In the axis properties, we are changing in the y-axis. The major spacing, it is 0.5. It is quite tightly placed, and to make a bit difference, I am just changing the place as 1, major spacing in 1. The stop marks I am keeping it at 1440 degrees, and the graph seems quite nice. Again, we are just going to axis properties, and in the axis properties, the label is to be written the angle in degrees x, and in the properties we can change the font also. Here we are setting the font Helvetica bold, and in the tick labels and tick marks we can just change the bars, tick bars, and in the spacing we are just making it as 30 degrees, 60 degrees and alike, and here I am changing, going on with 60 degrees. In the minor ticks making up 30 degrees, so we can see, though it's tightly placed, the tick bars are quite bit tighter. We can change the font size either. We can just make it smaller by changing the character size in tick labels, and I'm changing up to 49. And that similarly in the tick marks, in the tick labels we can change the angle. Little bit of inclination might seem better, so I'm changing the angle with the tick bars is placed, and just accept it. Here we can see the change. You can change as per your wish. Similarly, after I can draw the grid lines by clicking that white bar to the red colored option, and just the grid lines thickness, major ticks and minor ticks, and just making a little bit difference. We can see a nice change. The grid lines are shown like that of graph sheet. There's a little bit of squares. If we draw on the y-axis, then it seems like a graph paper. Major ticks and minor ticks I have selected accordingly, 1.5 for major and 1 for minor, and the line color I am just choosing it blue. Let's see. Oh, it's not accepted. Again I am going the same. I forgot to just click it. After clicking and just accepting, we can see the change. Yeah, we can see pretty nice square bars like a graph sheet. Now what we are gonna do is just we want to add titles. In the graph appearance, we can see there in the main titles, frame, legend box, and so on. We can go in the title tab and just write the title of the graph. What we are doing. This I am doing for plot of sine and cosine, so I am writing accordingly. In the subtitle, I am writing up to which degrees I am making the graph, 0 to 1440 degrees, and I can change the font also, like Helvetica bold and Courier, etc. Color as well. In the subtitle also we can change the font. I am making Helvetica bold for title and just Helvetica for subtitle. So we can see the change in the graph. The plot of sine and cosine curve, the title and subtitle is displayed. Now in the graph appearance, I want to just make a change in the legend box. Pretty nice legend box is over there. Just I can go on with the frame lines, how the legend box will seem a little bit darker, might seem better. So I'm just making a change over there, what color to fill inside the box. And similarly, if I change the world coordinates, and there is another option as well, that location will be shifted. Yeah, in the world coordinates it is shifted to below portion, so it doesn't seem nice. Again, I am going to make the default option viewport coordinates, and it's pretty nicely placed at the top right corner. That seems good. After this, again we can make some few changes in the graph to make it look better. The frame in the legend can be filled with certain patterns as well, like the patterns on there. I'm just making a little bit change. Yeah, the color from turquoise sign is being changed to dotted pattern in the legend box. Now to change the label properties from the font and so on, just in the y-axis the labels are being changed. Similarly, we can go on with the x-axis as well and change the labels. We can change the tick bars as well. There are pretty much options over there. Like there are many fonts, just choose one, and yes, we can see the change. Now just to put the time and date, etc., we can use the timestamp in the graph properties. And in what font to put the timestamp? Plot appearance graph. Just the timestamp is plotted over there, written nicely. And to save this, what to do, how to save it is just specify the location where it is to be saved. Here I am saving the desktop ANZ to the folder name, directory name, and just what we have to do is to save it, we write the file name and just write in .azr format. If we save in .azr format, it can be saved for future use as well. I am just mentioning the name plots.azr, and after mentioning the name and properly specifying the location, just click OK, and this saves in AZR format, which can be opened by xmgrace later. We can work from that point up to what we have done the work. There is no fear of losing our data. Now to export again in PNG, JPEG format, etc., to make in usable form, we can go to print setup and just set up the changes and write the file names in what we want to save. The pixel size we can change, the paper size and so on, orientation, landscape or portrait, and resolution we can change as per our wish. Yeah, I am going on with the landscape and A4 size paper and just accept it. Now after this, again to make it in print format, go to print and just click it, and just after checking on with the file, we can find that it is nicely being exported in PNG format. Yeah, plots of sine cosine curve 0 to 1440 degrees. We can just insert this picture in our ODT file, other files, and just present our documents. Now to confirm whether the file was saved or not, just in the terminal I am just writing xmgrace and just opening the xmgrace. Now file, open, specify the file name where it was located in desktop. We have saved already, and this in ANJ2 folder. There are two AZR. Oh, there is one AZR file. Just click OK and just see. Yeah, the file can be continued now. We can make the necessary corrections in the file from the point up to which we have done previously. Now to make a little bit change, we can do as we've done before, the plot appearance, access properties, and so on. Just we are changing the color of the graph. For example, green. Or similarly, we can change color, etc., yellow, and so on, and just a little bit of correction, little bit of change, and we can make any change we want in our graph to be done, and just save as. Make the file name different so that it won't be overwritten, or if you just mind, if you don't mind whether it is overwritten or not, you can just overwrite it as well. If you want to make a new file, just make the name different and just save it in AZR format, .azr. You can add the project description over there. Just click OK and just close it. Again, to confirm whether it is saved or not, just write xmgrace, just open it. It's a blank graph. Now we can open from there, and it is plot2.azr in the folder. Just see where it is. Plots2.azr. Plot 1 was that, the initial one, and we made a change a little bit, and we had saved as plot 2. In the plot 2, we had changed the color. Yes, both are saved in .azr format from which we can continue our project. We can just make graphs, beautiful graphs in xmgrace with details, with legends, just labeling in x and y axis, grid lines, and so on. That looks pretty good than the previous one. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Keep watching my videos. I'll be presenting more yet informational and funny stuff on programming, Fortran programming, in the upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.